Apex Legends developer John Larson, who's also the game bouncer, went in an interview with Tom Bull over at Esports GG to explain what happened with change in Apex. So many people in Apex have always said that we need to get rid of this can't see anything meta, and specifically talking about digital threats and smokes and all type of visual clutter inside of the game. Well, that's something that not only pro players don't enjoy, but casual players don't enjoy it either. And so there's a lot of talk as to whether or not it should be removed. Maybe we should change some of these legends so that they're not as strong. Well, here was the interesting response that John Larson had. Roll the clip.
So yeah, we might see some alter in the future, but someone that we're definitely seeing a lot at the moment still is Bangalore. Were you surprised that pros are still using her to such a high extent, even after the quite substantial changes that you brought mid-season?
Yeah, a little bit. Part of the reason that a lot of the legends in the can't see shit meta aren't getting hit too hard in 21 is because we don't want to gut these characters for the masses. You know, we might take a wider swing in mid-season update, but I thought we'd get a little more variety. But I don't mind Bangalore in comp in terms of what it provides for micro rotations. I think that's important. But I guess what the last suite of nerfs showed is that we really didn't change anything about the core like gameplay loops or design around Bangalore. Like you have to be a little bit more selective about smoke, but it still is, at the end of the day, smoke. And so, you know, the pros still recognize that. It's not really shifting much in terms of how you play in and around it. So there's more we can do, especially with upgrades, is balancing levers.
Now, arguably enough, many people did ask for a lot of this can't see anything meta to go away. However, it was mostly pro players, and you can definitely tell that pros have the loudest voice. But how does this actually affect their judgment? How does this affect their decision making when it comes to changes? One of the biggest gripes that many fans have had over the ages is that Respawn loves to listen to pros. And when pros complain about something, they are quick to make a change. But when we complain about something, or if the casuals combat what pros have to say, oftentimes it seems to fall on deaf ears. The question was asked, do you specifically listen to pro players more than you do the rest of the community? So here's what the game developer John Larson had to say. Honestly, I really wasn't that surprised. Roll the clip.
I wanted to ask something that you kind of always see, usually in replies to your tweets, right? Is like, oh, thanks at professional player 1, professional player 2 when a change happens. Where do you guys draw the line in terms of like looking at the wider community and the pro community when making balanced decisions? You know, what is the, are you considering both? Is there one you consider more than the other?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's really not an exact science. It depends on a lot of factors. If something is problematic in comp, and I say problematic from both like a player frustration and also like viewership experience, we're less hesitant to like act quickly and take wider swings. But if something is sort of meta at the top end for a while, like I thought Gibby meta was actually a pretty compelling meta at the top end in terms of bubble fights and kind of what they meant, and they were fun to watch. I felt that while Gibby was in the meta for a while, like we didn't feel as much of pressure to shift that as much as we were with like Catalyst meta and every end game ending with like 3 walls going on at the same time. But we are, you know, a massive online game, and we have plenty of data to look at and kind of either confirm our suspicions or bring other things to light that we have not thought about or seen. So there's not like I can't really give a number of like we give 50% comp, 50% casual. Like we want things to work for all, but sometimes that speed of change is influenced by competitive.
So, to no surprise, they do actually listen to pros a little bit faster, and the reason is because it causes widespread chaos. So, if you're a community member or just a fan, it may take months or even many seasons to get involved with your new change that you've requested. But whenever it comes to pros, if you have a loud enough voice, I think we all saw it coming, that yeah, it actually does have a lot of effect. Now, to play devil's advocate here, I don't think this is a horrible thing. Oftentimes, we do need to speed ramp a lot of these things so that we can get to a solution faster. However, a lot of people get frustrated with this because on one side, it's not always objective that you have a change that needs to be made. And maybe sometimes we feel like we need to discuss this a little bit longer. We don't need to jump to conclusions. And oftentimes, loud voices can really make premature decisions. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from, at least from the community member side of things. I understand the logic, though, behind the developer's response. I think it's practical, and I can't say that I would do any different if I was in that place. I will say that I'm slightly frustrated that the can't see meta is still going to be sticking around, all because they, quote, don't want to gut those legends. I mean, look, you've gutted a lot of legends. You've completely changed the way some of the legends work. And some of the legends used to be amazing, and now they're not really used that often. So I don't really think it's like historically accurate that you can't make a legend worse than what they are, and maybe even not usable, because there's a lot of legends on the back burner that are not used for comp at all, or maybe even inside of pubs that often. We've seen instances where Pathfinder was much in meta and not in meta at all. We've seen instances where Caustic was in meta, not in meta, then back in meta. So not wanting to gut a legend confuses me a little bit, because we've seen them gut legends in the past. So what's the difference, and why couldn't we do that again if there was a healthier meta to promote in the game? Now, another question is the Havoc, and will it actually be getting a nerf? Of course, we asked this question 2 videos ago, and many people have been discussing the Havoc needing a nerf. Matter of fact, if you search Havoc Nerf on Twitter right now and look at the latest, there are hundreds and hundreds of tweets just in the last couple of days discussing how the Havoc needs a nerf. Many people are hoping that it comes. Others are frustrated that it hasn't come already. Of course, according to CrowdRendo, we had this update come out a couple of days ago, and many were hoping that we would get a mid-season update with a nerf for the Havoc. However, of course, that did not happen, and we did get a response inside of this interview that John Larson did say about the Havoc. He said it wasn't coming at the beginning of season 21, but maybe there were some options in the middle of the season for some other changes. Roll the clip.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the Havoc. Obviously become incredibly popular amongst pro players. We're seeing a lot of Havoc already here at the AO Just Spit One playoffs. Is that weapon getting any changes, or is it something that you guys are still like reviewing and looking at?
Not at the start of 21. So something we're still looking at. Yeah, more to come.
So a lot of interesting things regarding the meta in this clip, but one thing I think a lot of people are wanting answers for, and maybe even an interview like this, is what's going on with the cheater situation in this game. We know that it's at an all-time worst. I mean, literally my last video, we discussed about 50 Apex Predators getting banned at once. Then we were talking about the course over the last few months, how it's just consistently getting worse, and complaining about it on live streams and complaining about it on Twitter, and even YouTube comments are also getting worse. It feels like they're infested with every single aspect of the game. And then even yesterday, I mean, this is just so sad. It's one thing, you know, like, oh, a ban wave happens and all this stuff happens in a Discord server, and yeah, it is bad, don't get me wrong, but then you see this in your live game. It's really frustrating. Roll the clip of Mandy and the 6 people getting banned in his game.
All dead, all dead.
All dead?
Yeah?
How the fuck you die then?
Did not reset.
Oh, like that, okay. Why did I have silver? Why did I just kill a silver right there? That's just fucked up. Oh, 4 people just got banned. Hey.
So not to throw shade, but I just think we need more transparency with the cheater situation that we're getting with this meta discussion. And just think about, I mean, when you're in a part of an environment that literally has nearly every game a cheater involved, it just makes you feel icky. It makes you feel disgusting. It makes you feel like you're gross. I mean, imagine a family gathering. Everything's good. Everything's going well. You've got 60 people show up for a party, and they're all solid individuals. And then suddenly along the way, every day you show up for this party again, and suddenly it's 3 really nasty, bad individuals that are stealing from the rest. I mean, after a while, you're not going to want to show up to the event anymore whenever it's just increasingly getting larger of bad people. You feel like you can't trust the group. You don't know who's legit. You don't know who's got your back. Apex family needs a good purge, and it needs something to fix this problem. Let me know what your thoughts are down below about the truth in how Apex makes their changes. Do they listen to pros too much, too fast, or do you agree with the way that they handle things? Also, let me know what your thoughts are on the cheating situation. Until the next time, we'll see you all later, Gators.